A person can steal, start a fire, rob a bank, or even kill her own children. But a person cannot really lie. That might sound strange, right? But it's true. When we try to trick others, our minds and bodies show it. We don't just say a lie, our whole self tries to hide the truth. Today, we'll look at the surprising signs that appear when someone isn't being honest. We'll use real examples to see how our language and actions can give away what we're trying to hide. By understanding these simple clues, you'll become better at seeing truth and deception. 1. Convincing resume statements. Trying too hard to look good. Our first key sign is what we call convincing statements. This is a common tactic where people try too hard to make themselves sound perfect or innocent, even when the situation doesn't call for it. It's almost as if they're reciting a list of ideal, good qualities, much like someone would on a resume. They're trying to sell you on their character rather than addressing the actual topic. Let's look at a chilling example involving Teresa Balboa. Her stepson, Samuel, was missing, but tragically, she had already killed him. When questioned about him, listen to what she says.
Tell me about your relationship. Did he call you mom? Did he, or at least...
Super mommy. That was his choice. It wasn't forced. We didn't force him because I don't want to force that. But he used to call me super mommy. He also knows that how much I care about him and everything that I've been doing for him and have done for him. So
Used to call me super mommy. Now think critically. If your child were genuinely missing, would your focus be on praising your own parenting skills, or would you be desperate to find them? Her words here aren't about locating Samuel. They're clearly about portraying herself in a positive light. This kind of intense self-praise in a dire situation is a major red flag. It's a classic deceptive strategy to hide something by attempting to appear perfectly virtuous. 2. Failure to answer, talking around the truth. Another telling sign of deception is when someone fails to answer a direct question. They might speak, but they deliberately avoid providing the specific information you're asking for. It's like they're performing a verbal dance around the truth, meticulously avoiding a clear yes or no. In that same interview, the reporter directly asked Teresa, "Where do you think the child is?" Her response, "Somewhere not with us."
What do you think? Where do you think he could be?
somewhere with not with us. And that's the important thing, is that he is not with us and we need to bring him back to us.
This statement is a prime example of verbal trickery. While technically true, Samuel was deceased and therefore not physically with her, it offers absolutely no helpful information about his actual whereabouts or what transpired. A person genuinely seeking to find a missing child would offer ideas, make guesses, or express sincere concern. Her answer completely sidesteps the real question, clearly indicating her unwillingness to assist or reveal what she knows. 3. Fewer self-reference and overemphasis, keeping distance and pushing their story. Individuals who are concealing something often try to distance themselves emotionally and verbally from a negative event. One method is using fewer self-reference. They consciously or unconsciously avoid pronouns like I or my when discussing the harmful action. Simultaneously, they might employ overemphasis, repeating statements or demanding your attention to force you to accept their narrative. Let's analyze the case of Susan Smith, who confessed to drowning her 2 young sons. "I wanted to end my life so bad and was in my car ready to go down that ramp into the water, and I did go part way, but I stopped. I went again and stopped. I then got out of the car and stood by the car, nervous wreck." When she initially fabricated her story, she might have referred to my car. However, observe the subtle but significant shift. When she describes the critical moment her car rolled into the lake with her boys inside, she frequently switches to saying, "the car." This seemingly minor linguistic change helps her create a psychological distance from the horrific act. It's as if her mind is attempting to detach herself from the terrible event. This is a common, often unconscious indicator that someone is trying to conceal their true involvement. Now, let's examine President Clinton's famous statement.
Now, I have to go back to work on my State of the Union speech, and I worked on it till pretty late last night. But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. Thank you.
He declared, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. He chose his words with extreme care, yet to most people, it was deliberately misleading. Then he adds, I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I am gonna say this again. He's not merely stating something, he's demanding your attention and emphatically repeating his denial. This overemphasis is a tactic designed to compel you to believe him, to make his words feel more powerful even when the underlying truth is different. He's attempting to control your perception by insisting very strongly. 4. Inconsistencies. When the story falls apart, perhaps the most undeniable sign of deception is inconsistency. This occurs when a person's story simply doesn't align with the known facts. Liars often struggle to recall the false details they've concocted, especially when they're under pressure or confronted with undeniable proof. Here's a video clip which will help us understand it better.
Is he staying at the hotel here?
No, he came to meet someone over here, so I'm just here to pick up my wallet because I forgot my wallet in his car.
Is your ID in this wallet that you said your friend had, or?
That's not my ID, that's my vehicle sales license.
I can see a driver's
Pull it
license
out,
right
you'll
here.
see it. You can pull it out.
Okay. And while I'm here,
Yeah.
what is this?
I have no clue. Oh my God.
Okay.
So, in the video clip, we have seen a man named Faisal claiming he's just picking up his wallet from a friend. That's his fabricated story. But almost immediately, the police discover his wallet right there in his own car. His entire narrative collapses instantly. His spoken words directly contradict what the police physically find. When someone's verbal account directly clashes with verifiable, proven reality, that is an extremely clear sign of deception. 5. Cognitive complexity and negative emotion. Words, signs of mental and emotional strain. When people lie, their minds are working overtime. This increased mental effort can manifest in how they construct their story and how they display emotions. Lies can sometimes be either overly simplistic, lacking the rich, genuine details that are difficult to invent, or, paradoxically, they can be too complicated, crammed with unnecessary facts meant to distract and overwhelm. Additionally, liars might use more negative emotion words, not always stemming from genuine sadness, but rather from the inherent stress of lying, or as a deliberate attempt to elicit sympathy. Imagine the mental gymnastics required to invent a detailed story and keep all the false elements straight. It's incredibly challenging. That's precisely why lies can sometimes feel too basic, devoid of the intricate small details that make a real story feel authentic. Conversely, they might pile on an excessive number of confusing, irrelevant facts, trying far too hard to sound credible, and pay close attention to an abundance of sad or angry words. While real emotion is normal, sometimes people overuse terms like horrible or devastated to try and make you feel sorry for them. The key is to assess whether their words truly align with their actions and the overall situation. 6. Verbal dodging, the avoidance strategy. Finally, verbal dodging is another very common evasive tactic. This is when someone speaks around a question without ever providing a direct answer. They might use vague language, simply repeat the question back to you, or skillfully change the subject entirely. Think of it this way. If you ask, "Did you eat the last cookie?" and someone responds, "Well, cookies are delicious, aren't they?" That's dodging. They deliberately avoided saying yes or no. In more serious contexts, people might use phrases like, "to my knowledge," or "as far as I recall," instead of offering a straightforward answer. It's a strategic way to avoid being trapped in a lie or admitting the truth by never directly answering the core question. 7. Congruence, seeing truth and deceit clearly. We've explored several significant signs that can indicate someone is hiding something, but to truly grasp the essence of deception versus truth, let's observe the profound difference between someone who is lying and someone who is conveying a painful truth. This concept is known as congruence. It's when every aspect of a person, their words, their body language, and their emotions lines up perfectly. First, let's observe Diane Downs. She murdered her own children and attempted to make it appear as though someone else was responsible. Watch her closely.
But the thing that really haunts me the most is not even the sight and the sound. I mean, the sound and the smell are fading. But at night, when I close my eyes, I can see Christy reaching her hand out to me while I'm driving, and the blood just keep coming out of her mouth. And that, maybe it'll fade too with time, but I don't think so. That haunts me the most.
Have you noticed how her face often shows very little emotion, even when she's discussing truly terrible events? Sometimes she even exhibits a strange, small smile that is utterly inappropriate for the tragic story she's recounting. Her words sound rehearsed, almost as if she's reading from a script rather than genuinely feeling the pain. When what someone says doesn't match their facial expressions or their overall emotional state, it's a huge clue that something is amiss. It's like she's putting on an act rather than experiencing true grief. Now, compare Diane Downs to Erin Runyon, a mother who tragically and genuinely lost her daughter to a killer.
Wrote the statement on the 3rd anniversary of the night you took my baby. And you hurt her, and you crushed her, you terrified her, until her heart stopped. And she fought, and I know she fought you. I know she looked at you with those amazing brown eyes, and you still wanted to kill her. And I don't understand it, and I never will.
Have you observed her raw and authentic pain? Her tears, her voice breaking, the profound sadness etched on her face. Every element is real and congruent. She struggles to speak, yet her words are direct and undeniably honest. There's no attempt to sound perfect, no dodging of questions, just pure, unadulterated grief. When a person's words, their facial expressions, and their feelings all align perfectly, even when it's excruciatingly painful, that is often the clearest indicator of truth. Her emotions are not a performance. They are her reality. So, the art of spotting a lie isn't about identifying one magical sign. Instead, it's about recognizing a cluster of these subtle clues appearing together when words don't align with actions, or when emotions don't match the story being told. By sharpening our attention to these details, we can become much better at discerning when people are being honest and when they are simply trying to hide the truth. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.